I owned the biggest music store in the state at one time, and let me tell you how it came about. Years ago, and some of you may remember the change from vinyl to CDs when people were still commenting that the CDs would never work. One of the big complaints was it wasn't big enough for advertising or to get the images across, and people had a whole slew of reasons why CDs wouldn't work. So when myself and my partner opened one of the biggest stores in the country and the biggest in the state, everybody was watching to see whether the CDs would take off. But I came up with a few things that were quite unique. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to think outside the box when you have your business. So above and beyond selling CDs, I realized that every store in the vicinity had a music problem in those days. And the local radio stations is what most people played, and it didn't always play what they wanted. So I went around to hundreds of stores and made deals to update. They could play the music, they could rent the music CDs from us, and once a month they would change, and we'd give them a selection and a little mini catalog that they could select from, and that would solve their music problem, and it could be bespoke to their particular niche. From there, I went and started a jukebox business. So all of the bars, I found a supplier of jukeboxes, and we put the jukeboxes in the bars, and we put the music in, and once a month we go and we'd rotate the music so the music didn't get stale. I then went to a professional marketing company and asked them about how we could start a magazine or advertise in other magazines to buy CDs. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, it became the best seller. It had the highest revenue of any music store in the country, and it made more money than the next 18 stores combined. And we knew that because we were eventually bought out by the biggest music company in the country. They couldn't compete with us the way that we organized things, and they eventually bought us out. But in the process, we could see some of the revenues of the stores they had, and we were doing much better than they were, and groups of them combined. So that's one way of just thinking outside the box. And sometimes you need somebody to, have a 50,000-foot view and look down and deconstruct your business to see where the areas of improvement are, to see if you need new strategies. A lot of businesses, particularly now for some reason, they're going through this transition stage and they're not doing as well as they were before. Their marketing is not quite as good as it was before, and that needs to be changed. So you need to change strategies if you want to stay in business. If you need help with your business, just reach out to me, message me, or give me some feedback. Thanks for listening.